Welcome, welcome, welcome back. I am your co-host, Queen Ro. Join me is the quote, the host, the quotes. That's like Queen and host together. It's the king of the throne, Mr. James himself. And tonight we have Daquan Starnes. He'll be bringing us and delivering us his song "Just Enough," so we can talk a little bit more about that, how it originated, and we're celebrating Mental Health Awareness Month. So let's just jump right on in and get things popping.
Let's do it. Let's do it. So, Quan, tell us about the song. Um, Tell us how it originated. Give us some history on the song.
Well, first off, the song is titled "You're Enough." Somebody said "Just Enough" just now.
Oh, well,
So it's titled
you're
"You're
just enough.
Enough."
For someone who think they're not, you're just
Right,
enough.
right, but it still goes back right to your point. It's just enough. Bottom line. So this song was originated by me, myself, of course, Nia Lindsay, as well as my mom. Um, I just told Nia that I wanted to write a song about some of the things that I went through and stuff that I battled early on as I was aging in my life. I went through a rough period where I battled depression because I felt like I wasn't where I was supposed to be in life, career wise. So a lot of times I battled that internally. Nobody knew because I was the most smiling, happiest person on the external that you could ever see. And I just told her I think it's time that I start being real transparent in my music. And instead of telling stories in my raps, how about I actually start making records that reflect me and who I really am versus just rhyming and trying to be like the typical demographic that I grew up listening to. So I started a song, started writing a song, and the original name of the song was "I Am Enough." And as we were writing the song, my mom overhears me in another room, and she says, "You need to say you're enough because you're talking to the listener." I was like, "Wait a minute, young lady, you might be on to something." So I had Naya to start the record over. As soon as she played the record, when the beat dropped, within 5 seconds, as soon as I said the words "You're enough," we knew right away that that was going to be a special record, and that's how we got that record today.
Wow, wow, that's amazing. So can you tell us a little about what kind of creative mind were you in? What mind space did you have to go back into? Was it like a deep past history you had to kind of like dig up? Like, were there any triggers? You was writing the lyrics.
Oh yes, typically because, like I said, when I was writing the song, it took me about 30 minutes to try to figure out what I was going to say and how could I translate exactly what I was trying to like get the listener to understand.
Hmm.
And so literally what I done was, if you listen to the verse, if I break it down line for line, the verse is really about myself. And so it starts off with me talking to the younger me. So I start off saying, "Young soul, steady growing old. You try to walk the right path, but the world cold. I imagine how it feels being all alone. My advice: be strong, keep pressing on. I guarantee you see better days. And if they try to steer you wrong, do the right thing. I know it's hard because you're stressing over nice things, but it's okay to stay fly within your price range." If you listen to those
Ah,
lines,
dope. That's dope.
if you listen to those lines, I'm really talking to my younger self because these are
Hmm.
things that I battled. You know what I mean? Like I've tried to stay on track and walk the right path, but I've had influences around me and been tempted to hustle and sell drugs and do things that really I didn't even grow up having to do. But I've been influenced by those things and I almost had the thought to do it and even try it. But I realized early on and thankful to one of my cousins. I won't say his name, but he actually told me when I approached him about this, and he said, "Man, listen, this ain't who you are. It's a lot to come with this that you don't even see. You need to stay out front and be the clean face that we got in this
Oh,
family."
from selling drugs and going into
Right,
that type of crowd.
right.
Wow.
And he actually motivated me, and shout out to him. He knows exactly who I'm talking to. But once I seen that, that was one of the things that I had to put in the song because I wanted people to know that I too have faced those thoughts and almost been tempted to go down the wrong path and went all the way with making the decision that I'm gonna do it. But thankfully my cousin loved me enough to put a red flag on that and said, "Nah, you ain't doing this." Um,
And that is so amazing. And thank you for being so transparent and putting it in your lyrics, and not only not putting your truth in there, but putting your true feelings in there as well. And shout out to your cousin for saving your life. Um, and it just, I wish there was more people like your cousin that can just be honest with these young men and women who are maybe trying to stray the path and go down that path, which is not a good look for them and could end up dead or yet in prison. And then your song just motivate them, telling them, "Hey, I've been where you've been. Just keep your head up because you are enough." Thank you for that. You have any questions for him so far?
No, I don't have any questions. The only thing I was sitting here thinking about was listening to his song.
Mhm.
Is basically something that people have been saying a lot recently. That it's not. I mean, it's okay not to be okay,
Mhm.
because a lot of times we feel like you said, you were always walking around, smiling on the exterior,
Yeah.
but we can be smiling on the exterior, but on the inside, we can literally be dying from life itself, because sometimes, I mean, life comes at you hard,
Mhm.
and a lot of times people aren't prepared for it. And even in the month of May, with mental health awareness, people are struggling, and people are, people, everybody has a struggle, but some people are just struggling more than others, just to keep their head, above water.
Mhm.
And I think a song like this is very fitting for them. Those people that you can reach out and say, "Hey, well, listen to this," because a lot of times, people are standing on cliffs,
Right.
and a song like this can be a song that either pulls them back off the cliff or pushes them over. So
Mhm.
these are songs that we need to encourage people that, it's okay to say, "I'm not okay. Nope,
Mhm.
I'm not
Right.
okay. I need help.
I need
I
help.
need somebody to talk to."
Speaking of needing help, so what other kind of outlets did you seek besides your music or writing when you were going through your whole depression phase?
oh my God! So now I'm actually an advocate for uh, Black men seeking therapy. Before I thought therapy was a joke. I was like, I don't need no therapy. I got God. I got my Jesus. So
Right.
I felt as though I didn't really need no therapy. But I took it upon myself, thanks to a friend of mine. I would just say an ex girlfriend who just said, maybe you should try it. And I was like, okay. I tried it. I went in with the whole negative like energy, like look and see, this Joe can't tell me nothing that I already don't know. He can't tell me nothing. I get in front of this man, and literally the first day, I'm crying, whole head down, because he
Wow.
started to reveal some things in myself that I didn't even know had an effect on me. You don't know because you're just carrying this stuff your whole life, and I'm like, therapy is. When I tell you, it's if you haven't tried it, I recommend any man to try it, and also you need to find a coping mechanism. And that's one of the
Mhm.
things that I learned in therapy. It will be through sports, or sometimes something simple as going fishing, something simple as, like I said, writing, reading, meditating, any way that you possibly can cope when the stress of life comes upon you. Everybody got a different way that they cope. Some people cope through drug abuse. Some people
Mhm.
cope through alcohol.
Right.
That's not really the way, because you drink and get high to drink and numb the pain, but in the morning the pain comes right back. So
Right.
that's not the best coping mechanism. The best coping mechanisms is what you do that makes you feel at peace. What is that? Whatever that looks like. It could be just getting in the car, going riding, and just get a scoop of ice cream. Just an ice cream cone. Whatever that looks like, it's very important that you make
Right.
it mandatory to get that self me time. And when you once you figure that out and you know what that is, and whatever, like I said, whatever that peace zone looks like, every one of us need a peace zone. Do whatever it takes to keep somebody from interfering that peace zone. And if somebody is interfering that peace zone,
Uh-huh.
do like I
Peace.
say, snip snip and
Peace.
peace.
Right.
If you're not peace, you need to be set free.
So my other question to you is, I know that when you're out speaking and you're talking to these crowds of people, I know that there are certain triggers that come up like if they may ask you a question. How do you deal with that and not go back into that dark space again?
Because I really have healed.
Okay.
If you've healed from it, then it's not going to affect you anymore. I mean, once you that's what I try to tell people. Most of the time, people try to run away from the hard and uncomfortable conversations. But
Hmm.
if you don't go into the dark pit and get broken, then you can't be fixed. You got to break before you can heal. And that's the key here.
Hmm.
You have to break before you can heal. So once you go into that dark, space and feel those feelings and emotions, after it's broken you and you cry and get through that tough moment, when you come up out that cry, oh, you feel so at peace and so refreshed, and then you can let it go and move on. Period. You got to heal. That's the only way you can heal.
Well, to me, I wouldn't say that would be healing. That would be a release of emotions or your body stress that you hold in, because we tend to hold in a lot of stress in our body without
Hmm.
even knowing it. We hold it in our
That's true.
face, we hold it in our necks, in our backs, in our jaws. We hold in these emotions and stress within our bodies. For me, and this is just my opinion, I feel that healing is a lifelong process.
Oh
We're
yes.
not 100% all the way content, healed. That's just what
Mm,
I believe. I believe that you are healing every day. You
right.
do have some relapses, you do have some triggers, but I'm always healing and evolving.
Mm,
So I believe there's also different phases to healing and different steps to healing. It's not, to me, not what you're saying. Not, no, I'm just gonna cry it out. I'm gonna have a moment and pray about it, and I'm gonna get up and I'm gonna be a boss. I'm gonna keep going. Because guess what? The next day I may have another pity party, but that's
mhm.
okay because I'm still healing. And then one day I'm not gonna have a pity party, but I may be a little down that day, and I might not cry. But guess what? I'm still healing. I'm still evolving. I'm still learning myself
Right.
a different path. So that's what I mean by healing. And to go back to my question, so a lot of people they'll say, I can't really talk about this right now, or I'm not
Mhm,
ready to talk about this. You're past that phase of healing where you can talk about it and you can actually put it in your music.
mhm.
And although you can talk about it and write about it and preach about it, I want to know, where does your mind go when you're talking about it to these people in order to see them on their level,
Mm.
if that
One of
makes
the
sense.
things. Oh no, it makes perfect sense. So to your point, healing is definitely a process. I'm not one that's going to pose as if I had it all together right away. That is not the case
Right.
here. Like
Hmm.
like it is a realistic thing. You're human, so you're gonna still feel certain emotions talking about certain, edgy topics.
Right, right.
You're gonna feel
Hmm.
that. So now I'm really clear on what you're asking me, because oh yeah, it be moments where you feel it still, but it's not affecting you in a way where it's like,
Right.
oh God, I can't talk about this. It's because you have healed. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
But again, it's still a process, because if you keep sitting in that pit, each
Hmm.
time you bring it up and talk about it, you can easily slide back right in it. Like you can easily slide right back in it, like without a shadow of a doubt. You know why? Because
Right.
you're human,
Hmm.
so you can always
Right.
slide back. But I would say for me, I just I always believe that you got to meet people where they're at. So you have to get down into the dirty and the nitty gritty to approach someone on their level, because that's the only way that you can pick them back up. It's the only way.
Right.
You have to get in the pit with them and say, now follow me. I know the way out of here. You have to do that. And
Right.
if you ain't going back doing that, then you got a crab in the barrel mentality. And I don't like to rock with you no way.
Right. And I wish I could be a fly on the wall when you're giving these speeches to these the crowds and the groups of people that you talk to. How their life transforming just through your music. It's just such a blessing. Um, do you see yourself doing a part two to the song, or a
Oh,
remix, or a remix
first,
to the song?
you the first person that's to ask me that in the whole year.
Because
Um,
guess what? I'm Queen Road. That's why. I'm just kidding.
All right, I'm gonna go ahead and drop the secret. So we're actually in the process of remixing the song now, and
Yeah.
this actual record is featuring Rendell. So he's going to be on the song this second go around. I just went
Yeah.
ahead and snuck it in. He's gonna kill me, but I'm gonna go ahead and just tell the truth.
You can blame me. I didn't know. It was just
Yeah.
wondering minds wanted to know. So
Right,
thank you.
right.
I can't wait to
So
listen to that. And
yeah,
are we
that's
gonna get a video?
now that I don't know. I would have to. I'd have to see with him if he wants to do a video. Of course, I'm all for it. You know what I mean? But it's just interesting that you asked me that because one of the interview people in my media run asked me, "Did I have other music like that?" And or
Um,
and I said yes because I do have other records that stems around the same demographic. So I still have mental health awareness records. So I got one record featuring next to R&B singers. I'm sure y'all familiar with who they are. It's titled "Ashamed of My Imperfections," and on that song, oh my God, I go down into the deep, dark sides of my insecurities that most men wouldn't even care to say or touch because you consider soft for, oh man, we don't whine, get out your feelings. Ain't no money in there. That's an ignorant mentality.
you know what? I think you should write a book of rhymes. It's kind of like a
Mm.
book of poetry, where it's nothing but rhymes that people can relate to. Because if you're touching people on a mental health awareness, and if you're getting real, talking about real men issues, you should definitely put out a book of rhymes. Volume 1. You don't have to pay me for the credit.
I was about to say I might have to slide your little percentage on me. You just dropped the jewel on me. I mean, I'm working on a book, but I didn't think about doing it in that format. So that's
Yeah,
probably a better way. It's probably more marketable like that, considering coming from me, an artist.
most definitely.
Let's talk about that off air.
Let's meet
Oh,
about it.
So
man.
going back just a little bit. My antenna's been going up a little bit.
Oh, I can see.
Just being an advocate for men, fathers, present fathers, absent fathers. We talked earlier about the broken place. If you can't be healed or in the process of healing until you've been broken. So what would you say, or what would it sound like if you approached, or if a broken man, I'm going to say man because advocate of men. So if a broken man approached you, what would that conversation, or what would your advice to him be? This man has tried over and over and over. The healing process just doesn't stick, and he continuously finds himself stuck in the broken place.
What would I say to him?
Yes.
I would first ask him, what happened to you? You see how I flipped the question? Every time we see somebody broken or crying or broke down in pain, what's the first thing we say? What is the first thing we ask them?
What's wrong with you?
What's wrong with you? Stop them and say, what happened to you? Now you change the question. Right away, you just opened him up because you didn't ask what's wrong. You asked what happened. Now you give him a chance to start talking with that open dialect, to start saying, well, man, I went through this, that, and the third. Now he's rambling and just rambling. And you just stand there and you shut up and listen. Let him get it all out.
Right.
Then you start to scale it back and answer to his pain. Give him a solution for each problem that he gave you. And each time you do that, and then you say, what are some of the things that you like to do, man? Like what you doing? What you do in your free time? Oh man, I love going fishing. Oh, okay. Now you tell him the definition of a coping mechanism. Each time he shifts into this broken place, once you pick up your fishing rod, get you some worms and some bait, and go fishing. That's your happy place, right? You see that? So it's like you're coaching somebody without them knowing that they're being coached. That's the game.
That's awesome.
So I like the way you flip the question instead of, because we do it. I mean, I do it, with Mike and Matt. I was like, what's wrong with you? I think I actually asked Gabe that in the car. I need to go fix that.
Yeah.
But that's just normal for us to say what, because the look or the demeanor is like something's wrong
Mhm.
or something's not right. So we automatically say, what's wrong? Instead of what happened. And I think, like you said, that just makes it broader because what's wrong with you is kind of like you're already on defense of
Hmm.
you're trying to fix your face or, somebody saying, what's wrong
Mhm.
with you? Now you're trying to, what am I doing? Or why you think that or why you say that?
Yeah, because
So
why it gotta be wrong?
right.
Why
I
does that have
think
to
it's
be wrong?
important.
It might be you might be in your feelings about something that's right.
Right.
Somebody may have wronged you. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And you had every right to feel the way you were feeling. But if I come off with, "What's wrong with you?"
Right.
What?
And that brings it
What
all the
happened?
way. That brings it right back to mental health, though.
Oh yeah.
When you ask what happened to you, because every problem that we have, every situation that we face, there's a root somewhere,
Right.
and as long as
Oh.
that root is not cut off, then whatever the situation is, whatever the problem is, it's going to continue to grow. It's just like a tree. If you don't you can cut the tree off, and it's a stump, but underground you still got a root.
Mhm.
So that tree is going to continue to grow back as long as that root is there. Once you cut the root, then the tree stops growing.
Mm.
So that's one thing that I've been thinking about lately. Not think about what's the problem, what's the issue. I don't know what the issue is. I already know what the issue is. I'm
Mhm.
44. I know what the issue is. It's been the same issue over and over. What's the root
Of the
of
problem.
that issue?
Mm.
That's what I want to cut off because once I cut that off, then I'm not. I may deal with another issue, or another tree, but I'm not going to deal with this tree anymore because that root is dead.
So, Quan, I
Amen.
have a question. So, we're talking about men, relating mental health to men. How do you translate this to your female crowd?
Same way. Same questions. Same what happened to you. Like it's the same blueprint you just implemented into women now. It's the same process. Like it because at the end of the day, on both sides of it, we're both human. You know what I mean? So these same principles and these same methods of coping it can apply to a woman because I can say, do you like what they call it retail therapy? Do you feel happy? Do you feel happy when you go shopping? Oh yes. Oh, when they start talking like that, I'm like, So whenever you stressed out, what do you do in your free time? Well, normally, I go shopping or I go get my nails done or I go to the spa. Like, oh, okay. So those are coping mechanisms. Every time you get stressed out, you go shopping and get your little retail therapy on, even though you maxing somebody's card out, it make you happy. So it's like it's just it translates the same way. And I don't care if you're talking to a woman or a man, it's the same way. What is it that women do? Some of them like to go shopping for flowers and smelling roses. If they like to order themselves flowers, order yourself flowers, boo boo. If that make you smile, whatever that looks like. Yeah, y'all got me tripping now.
So without the song "You're Enough,"
Okay.
before the song "You're Enough,"
Uh-oh.
at your age now, what would be the one thing that you would say to your younger self, knowing what you know now,
Without having written the song.
without having
Okay.
written the song?
You just stripped me of what I would say. What I would say to my younger self or to me now.
What would your younger self? Yeah. What would your younger self say to you?
So, if you hadn't written the song speaking to your younger self,
Hmm.
Oh,
no, the song didn't exist.
What would you?
At
What would
this
it have
point
looked
in your
like?
life,
Right.
what would you say to your younger self? Is that what you're trying to say?
Mhm.
Okay.
right.
So
I think that's
basically,
what he's
I
trying
think
to
that's what he's
basically,
saying. Yeah. Okay.
when you talk to your younger self, it's basically like encouraging a younger person with
Okay.
what.
I got you. What I would say to my younger self if I didn't write this song. Just hang in there. Storms don't last always.
Wow.
Mm.
Wow.
Oh Lord, I better leave that alone. So don't get me started up in here.
Tell me.
Wow.
Trouble
That-
don't last
That'll
always.
preach now. You might hear that
Hang
again.
in there. Trouble don't last always.
Yeah, trouble don't last always.
And
That's what I
I
would
mean,
say.
that's very good because that's something that we all need because we go through trials, tribulations. just coming, and not even coming out of the pandemic, but just dealing with the pandemic. So many people unemployed, whether it was by choice or by force. Families suffering. The housing market crashing. All those are factors of or risk factors of someone falling into a depression, which inevitably is, you know, an issue of that falls under mental health.
Mhm.
Right.
So, you know, hang in there. Don't give up. All those, little encouraging. You don't have to, preach me a sermon. I don't need you to preach to me for, 30 minutes, 40 minutes. If you walking past me and you sit me down, hang on in there. Hang, hold it up. Keep going. Keep moving. Keep
Right.
pushing. All of that. That's
Mhm.
encouraging. And somebody that's, dealing with mental health issues, uh, that can encourage them,
Mhm.
even
Right.
though you have the diagnosis and you're being treated for it. At the same time, that can encourage you,
Mhm.
and
Right.
it kind of gives you that little, that
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 push and
that
pat on the
push
back. Mhm.
to
Even if
keep
you're
going.
not even if you're not dealing with mental health issues, you could just be a
Right,
typical normal person. Because I mean, I myself, I don't even have a diagnosis, and
right,
neither do y'all. But it's just the stresses of life. Because I don't care who you are, the storms of life gonna come. So
right,
Mhm.
what I think we should say to all of our younger selves is just hang in there. Storms don't last always.
right. And all of
Period.
us deal with some type of, even if it's not like you said, a diagnosis. Like I was thinking today when I was at work, um, I was dealing with mental issues when I was young, but it wasn't because mental health, or we use the words mental health now. Same stuff when we were younger, but it was just worded differently. Your mama say you acting up.
Yeah.
You just
Right.
acting up. You you just go sit down somewhere. You acting up. But at the end of the day, because we didn't have all of the knowledge that we have now, that's
Right.
what we were doing, acting up. But it was mental health way back then
Yeah.
Right.
because of our behaviors and whatever was going on in life.
Mhm.
But it
Right.
was just you acting up. You need to go sit down. Sit down somewhere.
And
You'll be all right.
that's true. And I
Well,
think people take mental health is like I think people when they hear the terminology mental health, they automatically assume that there's some mental diagnosis somewhere.
yeah.
No, mental health is exactly self-explanatory. It's taking care of your mental. That's it.
Mhm.
So whatever that looks like for you, all that simply means is whatever the happy place or whatever the peace zone is, what does that look like? Because that's the place you need to go to every time the worry and the stress and the overwhelming things that life throw at you come up. When they come up, go to that happy place. And that's taking care of your mental. Period. That's it.
Well, Daquan, we thank you so much for joining us and talking about your song and encouraging others. Where do you see yourself going in the near future with this movement?
Oh, I have partnered with Trinity Wellness Outreach, also Serve Unity Outreach, alongside James, alongside Jamil, alongside next to the twins, and Yolanda Baker, Richard Baker, everyone involved in our mix. We're taking this message forward, and what we're going to do is come into these communities, provide the people with resources that they need, being able to have access from mental health resources as well as on-site therapists, financial literacy vendors as
Wow.
well, credit report people, you name it. We're going to provide the community with resources, and I feel like going forward, I will be a continuous advocate for this
Mhm.
because it goes much deeper than mental health. It's just
Right.
it goes beyond that. Like I feel like I will continuously go forward with speaking and have a long career with just speaking to our youth and just it's just about educating people on what they don't know. Um,
You're right. And we
and
so much need that in this world. So where can people follow you or keep in contact? And since you're going to be traveling and doing all these things, how can they keep up with you?
very easy. All my social media is real Q Starnes. It should be scrolling across the bottom of the screen. If it's not, it's very simple. The word real and then my last name is
On all
QSTA.
social media platforms.
All social
Correct.
media platforms. You can find me on all of that. Easy.
All right. That's amazing. Just James, do you have anything to say before we close it out?
I don't. I just thank you for joining us tonight. For anybody watching the live tonight, just make sure it's going across the screen now that you stream the single "You're Enough" on all digital platforms, available now. So go out and get that. Even if you're not having an issue right now, somebody that you know, somebody that you love may be going through. So send the link to them so that and tell them to take a listen to the listen to the song. I promise you it'll encourage you.
All
Thanks.
righty, signing off.
Thank you so much. You
Thank y'all so
enjoy
much.
your night. All right.